People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Now, if you didn't know already, and I can't lie, it's the morning after the night before, Arsenal fans, we obviously beat Manchester United 1-0. Now, obviously, it's a nice victory. It's a top 6 game. It's a top 6 game away from home. Obviously, with Arsenal and United, no matter where they are, because of the connotations between the two teams in the Premier League, there's going to be bragging rights. You lot, I'm sure you all know a United fan, regardless of when they used to finish behind us and whatnot, had a lot of verbal and a lot of things to say, even post Sir Alex Ferguson. During Sir Alex Ferguson's reign, we all know United won the war. We gave them a little couple battles and whatnot. And Arsenal, obviously, in recent years, like I said, neither team is competing for titles, but it's bragging rights. You know, both teams are competing for top 4, or at least trying to. They need to take points off each other and their rivals. It could have went either way. Now, yesterday, obviously, when we look at it from a tactical point of view, without emotion and all of those things, it weren't the most glamorous affairs. I don't think it was as boring as people are making out, but it wasn't the most glamorous affairs. You can see it reflected by second half. Obviously, there was more shots, but first half there was a lack of shots on target and quality efforts from both teams. In fact, really and truly, from both teams throughout the game, neither keeper was really tested. I know De Gea had a fierce shot to contend with from Partey. Obviously, there was an effort that cannoned off El Nene and cannoned off Leno and hit the post, but it weren't a thing like that. It is what it is. Arsenal still had to rely on a set piece. A dead ball scenario to obviously win with the penalty, and that's not a criticism, but if we're looking at our performance from an Arsenal perspective, you know, we had lots of possession. I felt we played very well, but to take it to that next level, we've locked it down defensively. I think we had a bit more about us offensively than we've gone into other games. I think Arteta's seen that, you know, you've got this game, at least he saw that. And again, Liverpool and Man United and City are, you know, the two of them teams are way off Man United, so I can understand why we'd respect them a bit more, why we might not stamp our authority against City and Liverpool to the extent we seemed a bit more confident or a bit more ambitious about ourselves yesterday. But I think, you know, for Arteta, I think this game, and again, there's still a lot to go. We're still not creating like that. You know, big up Partey and El Nene regulating in the midfield. There might be time to come where we say, can they create? You know, I feel we can create a bit more chances, we can score a bit more chances, but I feel in the United game, this is the balance I was speaking about. You know, I like the fact that Arteta thinks about the opposition and what they can do and the threat they can pose, and he sets up with that. But what I wanted to see is a balance, and I saw balance with the lineup, I saw balance with how the players were, you know, going with each other, and I saw balance in how Arteta set them out. I saw a man that said, you know what, this team will hurt us if we mess about defensively, so we're being spot on defensively. El Nene and Partey did a lot of doggy work in midfield. Every defender for me, from Bellerin to Tierney to the two centre-halves to Leno, all deserve crazy praise. I think they did their job. But as much as we think about that, we've got to think about what we can do going forward. And like I said, we didn't really cut Man United open and them the same. We didn't really make De Gea backs against the wall goalkeeping sort of thing. But I think there was a bit more about us going forward. We didn't just think about the opposition. We felt what we could do. And I think that's how you win a football game. You know, I also think for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, looking at it from a Man United point of view, there was a bit of a reaction in the second half, but I feel Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to take a lot of the heat, because I feel he didn't react. Arsenal for me throughout was the dominant team, and that's a fact. We had more possession, we had more opportunities, we had more of the ball, and while, like I said, we weren't cutting edge, we had more of the ball. I don't think he quickly saw what was going on. I think he didn't try and help his attacking players, like Bruno Fernandes was missing, and as was Paul Pogba, but you could see the areas they were going to have to pick up the ball, because, you know, not that United was struggling to play out from the back. It's the balls falling to players like McTominay, like Fred, with all due respect, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw. You know, these players are not going to really harm Arsenal like that, cut us open, and we'll take that. I think he didn't react to that quick enough, really and truly. You know, I heard him in the post-game speak about the Champions League and things, and I don't want to misinterpret him, man, but they did have 1 extra day's preparation on Arsenal, so fatigue and all of these things, how much do you really get? Yes, Arsenal played, there was rotation and whatnot, but it is what it is. Like I said, from a tactical point of view, yeah, you kind of saw a diamond, a 4-3-1-2 from United, but forget United. For me, for a second, people, I said we need to go 3 at the back. I don't care if it's 3 or 4 at the back. I'm a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 man by trade. It's all about the intention and the invention, and I felt you could see Saka was getting forward. Willian had a couple opportunities, you know, there was Bellerin's ball across the line, you know, to take our play to the next level. Can we be a bit more cutting edge? Like Holding said in his post-game comments, could we have got 3, 4, 5? Maybe. You know, we need to start doing that, Carl. And another day, you know, we did what we needed to do. But that chance I mentioned, that cannoned off Leno, that goes in and it's 1-1. Now, I feel a point would have been a good result for us. But, you know, 3 points is better. And if we did drop points from a winning position, it would have been a blow. I've spoken about El Nene in enough videos. Partey the same. And I've praised them. But them two there in the midfield for us, apologies, people. That's not even us. That's how happy I am. I'm talking about Man United. These two in the midfield for us, madness. You all saw El Nene pressing in the last moments of the game, 90th minute. Obviously, it's not to scale. It was more over here. But you saw him pressing that back line for possession. You saw him trying to play forward passes. You know, all of that's extra for me. All of that's bonus. And I'm not taking anything away from El Nene. The bread and butter I needed to see was fighting midfield. And I think considering they basically had a diamond of sorts, or a 4-2-2-2 or a 4-3-1-2 as I saw it at times, we did well because we're outnumbered. There's 4v2. So United have to ask, why were they so poor? You've got 4 against 2. And they have to ask why they're so poor. But from an Arsenal perspective, battled, you know. Paul Pogba was probably on the left-hand side. Partey had his number. And there was a lovely moment. Partey seemed to man-mark Pogba at times. There was a minute Pogba darted across. You could see Partey telling, yo, El Nene, go and pattern that. And El Nene got onto him. So I saw a good communication from him. I don't really want to praise professional footballers for communicating because it's the bare minimum. But at Arsenal, basic things like that have been a rare breed. So El Nene and Partey can take a lot of praise. I also feel Saka for getting forward as well, letting these lot become narrow for getting forward. Obviously Bellerin as well. Most forward I've seen Bellerin in recent games, people up there. Obviously Bellerin for the goal. It's poor, you know. I'm going a bit ahead, but let's move people out. Willian's in possession, people. Let's call this Willian and not Bellerin. Pogba's there, Bellerin's there. Now it's not to scale. There was other things in the build-up, but Bellerin's made that run from. Bellerin's gonna make this run from early, you know. When Willian's got the ball, Bellerin's gonna make this run from early. It's bait what he's gonna do, people. It's really bait what Bellerin's gonna do. He runs, obviously. Pogba is really not going nowhere, you know. He doesn't need to go to ground. I can see the penalty yesterday as well in similar circumstances. But he clips him, he makes the ref's decision and he books him. And I feel with Bellerin, that's what I want to see. Yeah, there's a bit of fortune with the penalty. We're not going to get a penalty every game. Only United get that. And it's not, that makes it even sweeter to beat them on penalties. But just by getting forward Bellerin, you see what you can have. So like I said, Bellerin was up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, there's no way I can show you the defensive work we put in, you know. I big up Arsenal for holding the shape. We held our shape. We remained penned in. Man to a man, individually in defence. Everybody did their job. Collectively, they shined. And that goes for everybody out elsewhere. We know people can criticise Lacazette. I think Lacazette pressed very well, people, really and truly. And I'm about to show you why I think that as well. We're going to get on to the couple other things in a second, people. Just let me pattern this up and fix this up. Cool. Diamond, 4-3-1-2, 4-2-2-2, whatever you want to call United's formation. I don't really care, people. What I liked is, you know, United come to play out from the back. Whatever you say about Harry Maguire, he can play a ball at the back. Lindelof wasn't a slouch either. And to be fair, the scoreline could have been a lot worse if Lindelof in particular didn't get some important blocks. But people, listen, you saw something along the lines of this. In possession, their fullbacks were slightly higher with Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. Centre backs peeled out, as you saw. And who did you see drop? You saw Fred at the diamond drop. Fred would come here and pick up the ball. That's cool. But this is where Oli went wrong, because we're pressing quite well. You had Laka, you had Willian, Aubameyang is even quite narrow. You had Saka, and you also had Bellerin, and you had one of the midfielders and the next man behind them. You know, they couldn't get out. They could not get out of that. You know, the ball was received. They were playing out from the back very well and doing all right, but they couldn't get out. And when the ball is falling to people, it's falling to a McTominay. Do you get it? It's Fred and McTominay's, people like that, or Wan-Bissaka, or Luke Shaw. These are people that are not going to threaten Arsenal. And what's frustrating the attacking players, because like I seen it at Arsenal, I see it all the time, and I've always said that even if you get a creative mid, this is what's going to happen. In scenarios like this, when you can't get out, or like I said, the ball is going from Fred to McTominay and going to people who ain't necessarily going to affect the game in an attacking sense and make the difference, what are you going to see? Pogba visibly frustrated. He's coming and picking the ball up in deep areas. That's cool, and that's what he should do to a degree. But he's not in areas where he can affect it. Bruno Fernandes as well, very tactically and disciplined. I know he must have had a free roll, but I'm seeing him pop up here, pop up there, on the left, on the right, on the left. you know, trying to help press. I mean, it didn't work for Bruno Fernandes, but even he's deeper. And what does that do? Immediately you rule them man there out the game. It's 3v2. Now, obviously, if the ball goes into space and into angles like it did on occasion for Greenwood, you fancy them. But if it's a back to the goal thing, Rashford and Greenwood have no chance. I mean, Rashford was more... Rashford needs a blanket, man. He was just on the floor every game, like all game, sorry. Just on the floor, holding the back of his head. I don't know what Rashford was on in that game. But I think we tactically outdone them, and I think that's where Ollie went wrong as well, because he didn't react. For Arsenal's benefit, he didn't react. But I liked what we was doing. Like I said, we're getting men forward. We're trying to put plays together. You know, our centre-halves are playing out from the back. Individually, we're defending quite well throughout the whole game. And we... and whatnot. We did what we needed to do. We just need to learn how to cut teams open a bit more, try score from open play, because I'm not trying to water down our performance. You can only deal with what you play against. United have been in decent form. We came into this game with 2 defeats in the Premier League, you know. We can only capitalise on their poor game management. But to take this to the next level, let's take all the positives, because there aren't negatives really. Let's take all the positives from this game, make it the minimum, and can we cut teams open with open play now? Can we do a bit better? You know, defensively, I'm not going to say we've got it on lock, because I wouldn't say any Arsenal fan is 100% convinced in our defending. We've got more confidence in our defending because of Arteta and what he's been able to do. But you get it, people. So, yeah, man, I don't need to praise individuals, because in a healthy way, you know, everybody was well. Obviously, if it came down to it, for me, Partey, probably the man of the match. El Nene a close second for me. It goes either way. I switch all the time. Gabriel comes and complicates that matters. Personally, I think Bellerin had a good game as well. It might not be as glamorous as the other names I've mentioned, but what he was told to do, it affected the game, and I think he did that from start to finish. Watching the game again, as I said, first time round, Tierney also had a great game at left centre half. You know, I'm not going to do it to scale, but what I liked about Tierney, he was equal to everything. Didn't get forward as much, but equal to everything. Spread it out wide when he could. For me as well, there was a couple of incidences where a couple of times we're caught high. They've broken, and Tierney's been the only one reacting and made a couple little tackles like that, little smart interceptions. There was even one he intercepted it out here and went on a run, and then it went out. But I think Tierney done his job, and you know, for me in particular, all right, Tierney's been here a year, but he's more or less a new signing. He's new to the squad. He's been here a year. You know, you've got Gabriel, you've got Partey, you know. None of them, with the exception of Partey, 45 million. And today's day and age, 45 million is nothing really. You know, 50 million for Sigurdsson, 45 for Partey, you know. A lot should be said about Arsenal's transfer policy and whatnot, but these sort of signings for me is what you should be doing. These are the blueprints, you know. Tierney, Mr. Consistent, he's serious. Gabriel, you know, fair enough, he ain't been at a team like Celtic where they want to win, but he's been at Leo, he's come to the Prem, and he's not on a joke thing. Partey, you could see he's been at Atletico, he's not on a joke thing. These are 3 fantastic signings, and 3 signings that need to make the core of this side. At what, 26, 27 or so, Partey's got about 5 plus years in him. Gabriel's only 22, Tierney's a couple years older. You know, we've got a fantastic sort of spine now. You know, if we can get a right back, or if Bellerin can continue this, or Maitland-Niles lock it down, wait for Saliba to get up to trade. Saliba played, for those who don't know, against Liverpool's under-23s. We did quite well, man. Like I said, man, one thing I like is, you know, like I said, the fullbacks with Saka and Bellerin, they stayed high. They tried to present issues. You saw consistently, again, not to scale people, but consistently Saka is being a nuisance for Wan-Bissaka, drawing fouls, trying to get in behind, and that's what you need. Bellerin got forward also. Everyone, man to a man, did their jobs, you know. Whatever we've worked on all week, you've worked on it, you've applied yourself, you really listened to what Arteta's had to say, and you've had a positive end to the game, really. Ollie's failed to have game management and react, but that's all from a United perspective, people, really and truly. I think what they was doing was quite flawed. I felt sorry for Greenwood. I think Greenwood should have stayed on. I felt with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he took off Fred, I get it. He was on a yellow card. I didn't even think Fred deserved to get sent off. I mean, taken off, because he looked like his temperament. He weren't going to draw himself out and get a second yellow. I actually think Fred was one of the United players somewhat just looking like a United player and looking like they want to play a game of football or try to do a thing today. But I understood why he's getting subbed. You know, Fred isn't going to pick the passes, you know, and stuff like that and make the difference in that perspective. And he's on the yellow. But when you're taking off Fred for Matic, that tells me you're coming here for a point. That tells me you don't necessarily want to get something out of this game, and you're quite fearful. You know, United were made to pay for a sluggish first half. You know, first opening 5-10 minutes in the second, they came out. There was a bit more attacking intent. There was a bit more opportunity. But I just feel I feel the tactics let them down. The in-game management and reacting to what Arsenal was doing from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer let them down. But do not get it twisted. The players were poor. The players, United players, appeared complacent. Appeared that they would just turn up and win. Maybe that's because of good form. You know, it did appear at times that both teams would be happy for a win, but I just feel Arsenal had more grit, determination, intent, belief. We're just a bit more positive. We was definitely way more hungrier, and we should be after not winning at Old Trafford in however many years, people. Like I said, Gabriel bossed it. He convincing headers, cleared his lines, important blocks. He gets tight at times. He's going to get a foul at times. He's going to knock in. Fantastic challenge on in the box. Who was it on? It might have been Rashford. I could be wrong, but he made a fantastic challenge in our area. He missed times. It is a penalty against Arsenal, but he did well. Partey did very well with his passing, with his interceptions, his ball recovery. The man's just, Thomas Partey is just a madman, people. And looking at these things, people. You know, our last 6 wins at Old Trafford have all been by a 1-0 scoreline, you know, from that, which is quite crazy. Arsenal unbeaten in our last 5 games against Man United, winning 3 and drawing 2. Man United haven't kept a clean sheet in 13 Premier League games against Arsenal. Thomas Partey won the ball 11 times against Man United, more than any other player on the field. Only Gabriel with 5 made more tackles than Partey. At a point, United only had 8% of their touches in the final third, and that's where I think he needs to react, because I don't feel they were presenting much issues to Leno and whatnot. At current, people, Arsenal have the best defensive record in the Premier League, conceding just 7 goals so far, considering we've gone against Leicester, City, Manchester United and Liverpool. I'm not saying we deserve any more praise than other people, but credit where due. That's even myself. I'm onto us. I don't think we defend perfectly, but you know, that's a good record to have. And we've conceded dumb goals, but it's a good record to have, and long may it continue, really and truly. Aubameyang has scored in 4 games in his last 5 against Manchester United in all comps. Mikel Arteta, who got his tactics spot on, is the first Arsenal manager to win his first to win his first visit to Man United with the club since Billy Wright in May 1963. There was some Partey stats. I saw a graphic from Sky Sports, people. I'm going to try and find it before I get out of here with you lot, in relation to, you know, it brings up all the interceptions and the rest of it, all the stuff we wanted to see. Partey also won man of the match, people, according to Arsenal. He also gained a lot of praise from Thingy, Roy Keane, who said he wishes he played for Man United. So against Man United, Partey had the most touches, most duels won, most ball recoveries, most take-ons completed, second most tackles made, which again, this was Orbino said that from Opta. This is Shaqwa that I'm on now. So again, who has made the most tackles? Yeah, man, 100% take-ons completed, 100% aerial duels won, 93% pass accuracy, 79 touches, 11 ball recoveries, 10 duels won, 4 tackles made, 3 take-ons completed, 2 interceptions, 2 fouls won, and 1 clearance. For El Nene, who deserves a lot of praise also, 98% pass accuracy, 72 touches, 62 passes, 5 ball recoveries, 3 interceptions. Lovely from the dynamic duo in midfield. I know there might come a game when we're not breaking teams down or whatever, and people might say that's not an expansive partnership, and they might be right in doing such. But it is what it is. I'm trying to see if there's one last graphic for you guys, people. Apparently as well, Arsenal have kept a clean sheet or conceded 1 goal in a game in 31 out of 40 games under Arteta. We've only conceded 3 in 2 games out of 40 against Liverpool and City, and I think everybody can understand that we're playing well, and we're defending well. I mean, that we're defending well, or defensively we play well, sort of thing. I'm trying to find the Sky Sports graphic, people. I don't think I'm gonna find it. Let me type in Thomas Partey Sky Sports and see what happens. And I think Willian lost the ball the most times from an Arsenal perspective. Not that I'm getting at Willian. I think Willian had a good game. You know, he had a stormer. Sky Sports. You had Michael Essien talking before the game about Partey. And I mean, it was a lovely moment as well, people, to see us dancing and whatnot, of course. I'm going to give up trying to find this, people. Let me see if I DM'd it to myself. It's so unfortunate, people. Oh, here it is, finally. You know, Partey scored first in relation to this match for touches, for possession won, for tackles and interceptions, for dribbles completely, ranked first. That was according to Sky Sports and Sky Sports metrics. It's a game-by-game basis, but now we've got good problems and good issues now. You know, in the same way, if you was to look at one place at Arsenal, you know, there would be issues up front. Who plays up front? Someone misses out. Again, I don't want to sound reactionary, but who misses out in midfield? Xhaka is loved by Arteta. He's going to earn his spot. Ceballos has played well this season. Earn your spot. El Nene's done well with all his opportunities. Partey as well. There's good problems now, and we want another midfielder. You know, we have to be wary from drawing conclusions. It's a long season. You know, fans can be very hot and cold. The same energy man are praising these man. They will be critiquing these man beyond constructively. So we'll have to see, people. But in relation to my tactical review, that's what I picked up on. It was lovely, obviously, to see El Nene as well burst in a gut in the 90th minute. You know, for me in particular, I was very impressed by the midfield. Gabriel and Tierney also played very well. I liked what the strikers done. I know Aubameyang didn't score from open play. I know Lacazette didn't score and Willian didn't do nothing too dramatic. But I think they did well with how, you know, how they were structured. And it seemed like, in fact, before we bust out another one, you've seen previously under Arteta, and you know what we did yesterday was nothing new. But previously, you've also seen Arteta tell our men, when their fullback, when their team has the ball, press, get right up there, get right up there, right up there. In this game, it was a thing where, alright, cool, man. You lot come into our area. You lot play. You lot do what you want to do with your fullbacks. You lot split your Maguires and Lindelof. You let your Freds get onto the ball. You let your McTominays. You do your thing. You lot do what you want to do. Laka, you're going to go and get my man. Sometimes Laka would pick up the midfielder, but Laka, you're going to go and get my man. You're going to get a bit narrow, William. You're going to come up here, and then our midfield is going to help. And I loved what I saw, but focusing on our front three, I really think the front three did well. Because I always get onto our front three for underperforming. This wasn't a game for individual performances, so nice to see we did the job. We can't rest on our laurels. It's good for banter purposes. It's good to laugh at our United supporting friends, because they would have done the same. But we need to move now. We've got Europa League action on Thursday. We've got Premier League on the weekend. The United game's a good result. We frame it. We look at it. You know, we've 06 is now over. We frame it in the sense of mentally we frame it. We remember what it felt like to do this. We can play like this, but can we build upon this? Can this become the minimum now? Can we do this twice this week, even on the Monday? Can we do it twice this week? Because now in a healthy way, beating Man United yesterday night was a good feeling. Today it's irrelevant now. It's irrelevant. It is irrelevant because, you know, that's not, it's our part, it's past glory. Now we need to show that same ethic in training and work ethic. Like we need to behave like we lost in a healthy way. You know, show that same intention and invention. And I want to see the same consistency levels from everyone, in particular El Nene and Thomas Partey. I'm loving what you lot are coming with. But on that note, though, I've got nothing more to add. It's been a fantastic 20 odd minutes, but I'm going to keep it moving. People, deluded, I'm out.